right, you're still watching Breakfast Daily here on Citi TV. It's time now for Consumer Tech segment. And this morning, we want to give you a reason why, or more reasons why, your child needs a Dext Science set. And so I'll be joined via Zoom, of course, by Caleb Fuga. He's Director of Strategy at Dext Technology Limited. And Dext Technology Limited, of course, they are the manufacturers of that portable science lab. I mean, a science lab that you can keep in your pocket, one that fits into your knapsack or your school bag, but gives you the opportunity to engage in all or to perform basic science experiment. Caleb, good morning.
Hi, NTB. Nana,
How are you doing?
how are you?
Oh, very well, very
Life is a
well.
blessing.
How are you doing?
Life is a blessing. How about you, Nana?
I'm good. I am good. I am good. Great stuff. So, yes, we're discussing the science set and, of course, why every child will need a science set. First off, tell us what exactly is this Dext Science set? What is it made of, and what opportunities does it afford the child with respect to basic science experiments?
Okay, so before we continue, I want to say a big congratulations and a farewell to all those students writing their BEC.
Mm,
We wish them all the best.
right.
Um, so to proceed, the science set, look at it as a whole lab shrunk into a small box,
Mm-hmm.
small enough for every child to experience 21st century practical science activities.
Mm, okay.
So, for instance, there are even things you get in a science set you will not get in a regular lab.
Mm,
So, for instance, we have a box called, let's say, 4.2. So, this is a 4.2 box, okay?
right.
Very handy. You can hold it in your hand like this. And it contains all activities for grade 4 second term.
Mm, okay.
Okay. So
Okay.
in grade 4 second term, you're learning about the human digestive system, you're learning about evapotranspiration, you're learning about filtration, and every single activity you need to learn in school is right here in this box.
Mm,
And it is very affordable to also get it on the market as well.
mm,
And so that for me is the science set. It's handy. It is small enough to develop the, you call this the fine motor skills of students,
mm-hmm.
because it is hands-on. You're able to do all the practical activities you need to do. So for instance, as we speak to you this year, there are about 175 schools in Ghana
Mm,
who are teaching their students in class 4,
mm,
third term, right?
right.
How to manufacture batteries, dry cells through banku that you
Mm-hmm.
eat using materials from this science set that we
Okay.
have in our hands here. Yes.
Mm. So,
So that is in a summary what the science set is.
right, but a parent would wonder, say, I have a child in, say, class 3. Is the science set syllabus compliant?
Absolutely. I would want to make a profound statement and say that the Dex science set has been approved by NACA. That's the National Council for Curriculum and Assessment.
Mm,
And so far, it's a historic approval because we are the only approved science materials that schools are supposed to use to help aid in the deployment of practical science activities in their schools.
mm,
And so, because you see, education is a very regulated environment. I mean, that is the channel we have chosen to train our next generation of innovators.
mm,
And therefore, we need to be able to regulate the things that we do. So it works side by side with the curriculum. That's the standards-based curriculum, and even with the Cambridge curriculum and Pearson curriculums as well,
mm.
because it covers the innovative part of learning, it covers the creativity part of learning, it
Okay.
covers the hands-on part of learning, and it also covers the personal experiential learning process,
Mm,
where every child can have their own science lab to perform their own practical science activities. And it comes at a cost just as a textbook.
Right. Right, this is quite innovative because I remember, I mean, our time we had to wait our turn to walk into a science lab to be able to engage in some basic science experiments. But even that for a limited period. So this is quite innovative. And if I'm able to acquire one, then that means I have the luxury of time to go through the various experiments. But just as I mentioned, we had to walk into a lab, and even in the lab, we had to be guided by a teacher. So I mean, does this come with a step by step guide, and how easy can these steps be followed?
Okay, so every single practical science activity has its own video tutorial link on YouTube where you can self teach and teachers
Okay.
can also self train. And so, just as you mentioned, as I'm speaking to you on my phone, right? I'm having this interview on my phone.
Right.
So, education, if we say education has changed, it is changing to adapt to the new trends of time, where we are removing barriers of having to have a science lab, an expensive science lab, before you can deliver 21st century learning for the students. So every child can now have a box where they can have all the materials they need to do science. Now let me give you this bit of information. As we speak today, data from the Ghana Education Service states categorically that we have only 12% of students reading general science in our senior high schools.
Okay.
A gap has been created because we have failed to focus on the practical science activities and to ignite the interest of students in science right from the basic level. And so Dext Technology, a probably Ghanaian-owned company, our CEO is called Charles Uforiantibem, and the co-founder is called Michael Efrifa, all young Ghanaians just like myself from
Right.
KNUST. Yeah. And so this is the Ghanaian technology. And we have about 500 schools in the UK who are using the materials we manufacture here in Kumasi, actually,
Okay.
and using it to improve their. I mean, UK is seen to be, should I say, the doyen of advanced uh, education, right? And yet here we have them using our materials. So the question we ask ourselves is, if you're a school in Ghana, what is your priorities? I mean, the best schools in Ghana focus on practical science activities, really. So we have schools like GIS that use our science sets. We have schools like Lincoln. We have schools like Outside Academy. We have schools like Largest Angels in Kumasi, KNUST, Hilltop in Kumasi. A lot of them. We are actually compiling a list of schools who have decided to enhance practical science education in line with the framework that has been created by NACA. That is the official body that creates a framework for practical learning in our country. And so we'll be releasing that list somewhere next week on our website. And when we do that, we want to use your medium again to inform parents about how schools are also trying their best to enhance practical science education. We also have Ahenema School, but the schools are sending their messages in that they are saying I should mention their names, but we'll release a list soon. And we have done this with Professor Elsiefa Kaufman, the National Science and Maths Quiz Madam, and then the current Dean of School of Engineering in Legon, University of Ghana. She has been a strong proponent of practical STEM education because she goes like, okay, so I train the best brains in this country in terms of the quiz competitions, but when they go outside the country, they are unable to deliver what they are supposed to deliver. And so she saw the right solution to partner with Dext Technology Limited to be able to impact the practical science activities across countries across schools in the country, and it is really working as we speak. Yes, thank you.
All right. Correct me if I'm wrong, but per our current education curricula, then basic science experience will be starting from somewhere class 2 to GSS 3. GHS 3, sorry. So do we have a set that covers all these stages?
Yes, so primarily we started with upper primary,
Okay.
That is, we are looking at 4, 5, and 6 for now. But when you look and we are looking at our curriculum, that's the SVC. When you look at it critically, things that you teach your students in class 4 is progressed in JHS 1. Yes. However, before the end of the year, we intend to have sets that are tailor-made for the curriculum in both the lower primary and the junior secondary level.
Okay.
But currently, what we have programmed out, really, which is there for upper primary, is what is on the market currently. So we have, just as I showed you, we have 5.1 here, which is grade 5 first term. We have 4.3 grade 4 third term. So we have them. Right. However, we also have a set that looks at general basic electronics. That is called the Science at Max. It's a black box, very handy, that every child can also use from lower primary to junior high school. Even yesterday, I was in Sunyane to train about 5 senior high schools, St. James, and some other Notre Dame, and some other senior high schools who really enjoyed the activities that we deployed with them. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, you just mentioned some senior high schools, but there's also some junior high schools and primary schools that are already using the sets. I'm going to take a few of the videos from those schools, and then we can continue the conversation.
Thank you.
The science set because, first of all, I realized I contain components of the various levels and the various classes that will actually make the teaching and learning of science relatively easier. Now, once they are experiencing with their hands, I mean, they are putting to practice what they study, and they are seeing it and they are feeling it. It makes them easily remember the concepts, and because they remember the concepts, it also gets them to understand the notes they read, the notes they write on the topic. So answering questions becomes easier.
Mary Mother of Good Counsel School has consistently produced all-round, disciplined and morally sound junior high school graduates with excellent academic results based on Catholic Christian principles. The practical aspects of the science set that we are using has given our learners a lot of enthusiasm. Initially, everything looked abstract to them, but with the science set, they have had some more interest, in the study of science.
For the past 15 years, I've been teaching integrated science at the basic level, and those years was a bit challenging because it was purely theoretical. The kids were not enjoying the practical part of it because materials were not available. Kids were seeing science teachers as somebody who comes to torment them each day. But now, the trend has changed. When they hear science, they think about the Dext Science set, and now they see science as very practical.
Minister of the Sea School was established on the 3rd of October 2000. So it's 21 years old.
Using the science set, you can have your own lab at home or anywhere you are. And using the science set, you can see or observe how this what you don't understand is done. But using the book, you just see the pictures and you understand it well.
A child from this school should be someone who can reason, someone who can apply, someone who is a critical thinker.
Using the science set, the particles I really enjoyed was using straws and lockers to build the sun and comparing it with the air. The size of the sun is really large, and my imagination really didn't appreciate it back then without seeing it. Now that I've built it with my own hands, I really appreciate it.
Interesting. Science at your fingertips. Science practicals made easy for you. And I don't know, from where I'm sitting, it's so interesting. It looks like you actually even build your interest in science the more. Caleb, how available and how affordable are the science sets?
So thank you so much for doing this. This means a lot to us as Dext Technology, Citi TV. We are very, very grateful. I mean, I just seeing these things running on your screens and the reactions we are getting from the students who are using the scientists has really gotten me emotional, because this is an answer to an old age problem.
Yeah.
Where people have not had the opportunity to learn science practically. I mean, and so now we have moved from complaining to offering solution, which is locally made, actually. And so we are actually selling the science sets online. We have 2 different sets, really. Just as I said, it's as affordable as your textbook. And so you can visit our website on don't forget to bring the article there, thescienceset.com.
Okay.
www.thescienceset.com. And then you see the prices there. We have one that costs 100 cedis and one that costs 200 cedis for a box. But we work with schools primarily and then get them to inculcate this into their classroom. So what the schools do is this. They add it to their book list, and then they acquire the sets for the academic year. And then they give the students, so in the curriculum, it is required that you do 30% of practical science activities as part of your academic score.
Okay.
But the schools shy away from it because the challenge of having access to the material is real. But now the sciences has come to curtail that. Right. And so there are no more excuses in that space now. And so they add it to the academic calendar. They have a timetable to do practical science in their classroom. So all these schools that you are seeing on your screen have developed a systematic approach to inculcate a culture of practical learning.
Okay.
Really, you cannot teach science without doing practicals. We've just managed our way through it all these years, and we are suffering from the repercussions because I have not had a single interview that the interviewer had not said, "Where were you guys when I was young?" You understand?
Yeah.
And so they have developed that, and they even go to the extent of having practical science exam. So let's say, to this term, you are building the human digestive system as part of the practical science exam. So you put together the human digestive system, and then you do that. Through those activities, one of our schools, Hilltop, had their teacher becoming the best STEM teacher for basic schools across the country, organized by Vodafone somewhere last year. You understand? So they are direct value addition to the school, to the teacher, and to the students.
Right.
And so if you're a parent and you are listening, I think one, you can acquire the science set for yourself if your school has not been proactive about getting it on the online portal. Schools who are also interested can also reach us on the online portal. We have a WhatsApp link there as well, which you can easily get to check in on us as well.
All right, great stuff. Before I let you go, I mean, first I came across the Dext Science set was at the This Is Ghana exhibition, but you have moved on and now you're sponsoring the literacy challenge. Last year you were part. You provided some sets for the finalists who made it to the grand finale. This year you're back. Are we seeing same? What should be our expectation?
Absolutely, literacy challenge is very phenomenal because it doesn't only look at one part of education. Indeed, it looks at education holistically. And we are, once again, proud to be associated with the Literacy Challenge, and we are going to handle the practical sessions once again. And so even as we speak, we are preparing for the Saturday's aptitude tests. So the students should get ready. There's going to be a practical session where they are going to be required to do some practical work there as well. Right. And so we are inspired to sponsor the Literacy Challenge because one, Citi FM through Bernard gave us the opportunity when we were down to nothing. I mean, when the company had barely started having us gaining grounds here and there, you gave us the opportunity to expose what we're doing because you saw that what we're doing was real.
Yeah.
And we have actually won the most innovative African education solution by African Union in 2019. And so Citi FM, upon knowing all these things, put it together and said, no, these guys must be pushed. And that is where we are currently. And through the Citi FM support, we currently have about 41 workers.
Wow.
Who are putting this together because there's a whole economy that we are not paying attention to in the practical science space and in the STEM space. Because when you are solving a problem, you are creating employment for people. And so we are very appreciative for the Citi. So that is how our journey began with Citi.
Right.
And because of that effort Citi put in, today we are sponsoring a literacy challenge. Isn't that funny?
Great stuff.
Yeah. So, and we continue to sponsor this program anytime, any day. Right. And we are looking forward to helping send a message then again to the schools for them to appreciate the fact that, see, we cannot run away from the fact that science cannot be taught without doing practicals.
Right.
And now it is an attractive package. The students will love it. Just like you said, it will entice the students to do more when it comes to science.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yes. And so that is the core thing. So they learn from the known to the unknown. So what is the known now? The known is that we have a science set that gives you the whole materials to do things. So after you've been taught with the science sets, now you're on your journey to invent or innovate things on your own.
All right.
And that is the story we want to tell. Yeah.
All right, Caleb, thank you so very much. And also, thank you also for supporting and sponsoring the Literacy Challenge. We wish you well, and hopefully we get to see you on Saturday.